Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. Me and Miss Dow again, Miss Boyce and Miss Dow again. So we're going on to 9.3, part 3. And it's the same thing. So we're still solving by square roots, but instead of simplifying the radicals or the square roots, we're actually going to use our calculator and put in decimal form. Okay. So let's take a look at the directions. It says, approximate the solutions using square roots, round to the nearest. Anytime it says approximate, that means you want a decimal answer, okay? And when it says round to the nearest hundredth, right, you are getting it to the two numbers after the decimal point. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. Here, I'll go over this way. So we know that we have 4x squared minus 13 equals 15. We know what to do from here because we have to get this x squared, right here, by itself. So let's try and get this x squared by itself. So the first thing we do is we're going to add 13 to both sides, right? Once we do that, we get, I'm trying to talk over here. Yeah, let me see. Hold a moment, people. Okay. Okay, so what we do from here is we add 13 to both sides, right? And we get 4x squared is equal to 28. Perfect. Stay with me here. And of course, then we're trying to get our x squared by itself. So we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. We get x squared is equal to 7. So the first thing before I wrote this in already, hold up. I wrote this guy in already, but if what you were really left with was x squared is equal to 7, right? And then from there, we know, okay, right, well, now we have to take the square root of both sides. And remember, when we do that, what do we have to remember for our answers? Very good. It's going to be a plus or a minus. So you're going to get x equals plus or minus, throw it into your calculator, the square root of 7, and you get 2.65, and you have to make sure you include that plus or minus. All right, let's try example B. You might have seen it already when I was doing my shade, right? So let me just get rid of this guy. So same thing, we're going to try and get this x squared by itself. So to do so, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. You get x squared is equal to 11. Again, you have to put that square root around it. So let me erase that again. So you originally get x squared is equal to just 11. And then to find what x is, you take the square root of both sides. So again, throw that in your calculator. Let's see what you get. The square root of 11 is 3.32. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth, remember? And again, you have to add that plus or minus with your final answer. So it's a positive 3.32 and a negative 3.32, just like we did before. Okay, why don't you pause it and let's try the tries. Okay, if you came back to me, here we go. You should have gotten that your final answers were x equals plus or minus 2.24 and x equals plus or minus 3.46, right? We're going to add 25, divide by 5. So what you're taking the square root of here is the square root of 5 is 2.24. And over here, the square root of 12 is what you should have gotten as 3.46. And don't forget to include those plus and minuses. All right, and the next one we're going to do is a word problem. And so here we go. And I already actually set it up. So let's just talk about it before you see what I set up. So we have a touch tank has a height of 3 feet. Its length is 3 times its width. So what we know about is the length. What we don't know anything about is the width. So why don't we call the width W? We're going to say that the width is W because we know nothing else about it. Now we can talk about the length in terms of the width. We know that the length is 3 times its width. So what do you think I can call that? Pretty blue here. 3W, because the length is 3 times the width. So we're going to call that 3W. And our last one that we already know is the height of 3 feet. Okay, let's just jot down what the volume is. The formula for a volume is length times width times height. And we know that the volume of this tank is 270 cubic feet. All right, so now we can plug in what we know. We have the length is 3W times the width is just W times the height is 3 equals 270. Okay, we got to go back to chapter 7. We're going to multiply 3 times 3, we get 9. What is W times W? You multiply 2 W's together, it's multiplying 2 X's together. And you remember what we got? Good, W squared. So right now we have 9W squared. We're going to divide by 9 because we got to get this W squared by itself. Let's divide by 9. We get W squared is equal to 30. So again, what do? We take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 30, we're going to say is again have a decimal answer. So the square root of 30 is 5.48 feet. Now, why do you think I didn't put a plus or a minus? Think about it for a minute. Why did I not put a plus or minus as my answer? Very good, because a width and a length cannot be a negative. You cannot have a dimension be a negative number. That doesn't make sense. So it is in these word problems, you're going to use the positive of the square root, okay? And then for the length, you plug in 5.48 times 3, because remember our length is the width. So 5.48 times 3, you get 16.44 feet. All right? And that's it for today. Fill out the Google form and you're good. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks.